Hello everyone, my name is Anamika Singh and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I would like to tell you that I keep posting a lot of content related to recent hiring in private sector for tutor roles and for non-tutor roles. I also post tips and tricks on how you can enhance your online sessions, and this video is going to be something about that. And yesterday I posted a video on how I take online classes. So if you haven't watched it already, I'll just put the link over here so that you can tap onto it and go watch and see the entire setup that I use for daytime classes as well as classes that I take after 7 where when there isn't ample light. So, and the same setup I use for shooting YouTube videos, and the setup is quite minimal and simple, so you can just go and watch that video. So in this video I am going to be sharing 5 things that a tutor should avoid. So this is going to be a part 2 of the video, and I have posted part 1 quite back. So if you haven't watched the part 1 of the 5 things that tutor should avoid, so I will put the link over here so that you can just go and watch. So let's get started with this video. Being a tutor, we know that we have the power to influence young minds, and this is why it is advised to not say anything controversial in front of your class. Because it happens that we saw some news, we heard it somewhere from social media or from WhatsApp and everything, and we usually form an opinion of it, which is quite natural. Everyone has a power of judgment, everyone forms their own opinion. There's freedom for that, but you should avoid saying that or expressing that in front of the class, in front of young kids, because you never know if it is true, you never know where it is coming from, right? So usually what happens is that we believe that the more a particular post or a particular news is shared, the more believable it becomes, but this is not always true. So this is why we should always take care of what we are saying online. It's not just about expressing political views, any views related to religion or anything that could create any kind of controversy. And also sometimes it, like the company that you work in, they usually take strict actions against it. So this is why it is advisable to not express any type of political views related to any party, any politician, anything like that. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Another thing that tutors should avoid is usage of a few words like block, ban, warning, then agreement. Okay, so all of these words should be avoided. In one of my sessions, what happened was there was this slide which I was explaining, and I said, this word agreement. So I just said, let's sign an agreement virtually. And I said it in a very casual way, in a very fun way. I did not, mean to say that. But when my trainer, my mentor, gave me the feedback, so she told me that you shouldn't use such words, not just in classes, but you shouldn't use them in any kind of meetings, because if you're saying this word agreement, so it actually means agreement. Okay, so you should avoid using such very, I would say, harsh and potential words. Then if we talk about words like block, ban and warn, so sometimes what happens is that, see, as tutors, if you are teaching in a particular organization, so this happens that some students are there in the class just to create nuisance, and they do a lot of things that just annoy and irritate us. Something like this happened with me while I was taking one of my sessions. So there was this student who was continuously beating his pen or pencil, I don't know, on the camera. So that was creating a lot of noise, and I knew that student is doing it intentionally just to grab attention. So I said him that, I don't remember his name as of now, but I told him that I'm giving you a warning, don't do this again. So yeah, and just after I said that word, I was like, okay, I shouldn't have said this, but then in the heat of the moment I just said it. So in one of my feedbacks that I got from the auditor, it was told that avoid using such words like warning. And sometimes, like, this was still, I use the word warning, but some tutors have used the words like, I will block you if you do this, I will ban you from the session, all of that. So these words are a big no because no matter how irritated or annoyed you are, or that how notorious that kid is, you have to keep your calm. You don't have to say such potential words, because sometimes we say it while we are angry, while we are annoyed, but it actually creates a very harsh impact on the other person, right? For example, usually, like, this happens that with kids, their parents also sit to attend the session, just to monitor their students, or just to see how the entire class and everything works, because kids are not that tech savvy. If we talk about 4th and 5th grade kids, usually, okay, so usually sometimes parents also sit to assist them with the different tools which are there, using while using the app. So this happens, and parents find such words very offensive, so they can report such issue with the their mentors and all of that, whosoever they are in contact with. So then it is going to create a great problem. So this is why it is advised that don't use such potentially harsh words like ban, block, or warning, then agreement. All of these words shouldn't be used virtually, or even in offline modes, because they just are not very appropriate. If a student is annoying you a lot, then you can just mute that student from your end. So there is an option for this also. I'm not sure if this is an option for all the tutors, but at least the organization I work in, there is this option. So I like this is a good thing that nothing like this happened with me ever again, nothing so serious, so that I never had to take this decision of muting the student from my end. But there is always a way out, so we should always just try not to use such words. So the third thing that needs to be avoided, not only by tutors but anyone and everyone who is using a pen tablet for taking sessions, for any kind of meeting, right? So the thing that should be avoided is using less contrast colors. Now let me give you an example. For example, the background you're writing in is of pink color, right? And the color of the pen that you're using is either red or yellow, or maybe light blue. Okay, so now you will get to understand that there is very less contrast between both the shades, like the background and the shade that you're using to write. So obviously the eyes will have to make more efforts to see what you're writing, and whatever you're writing should be absolutely crystal clear, right? The eyes shouldn't have to strain while seeing. So in some organizations, like where tutors teach, there are actually marks for these. Okay, so they judge tutors based on these little things as well. So you have to make sure. Now this is not just for tutors or anyone who is teaching, it is also for those students who are going to give presentation, who have I would say some kind of assignment to present, right? In their school, college, all of that. So make sure whichever pen you are using, like, be it you are using a pen tablet or not, right? Even if you're using a stylus, so make sure the color that you choose for writing is way more different than the background you're writing in. For example, if there is a pink background, as I gave you an example already, so try using white color, try using black color, so that will create great contrast, right? If there is a black background, try using yellow color. If there is a yellow background, try using black color. Okay, so try choosing colors that create a good contrast. Yes, so there will be more visibility. So the reason why I included this in the list of things that should be avoided is because some tutors in some organizations are actually judged based on such minute parameters. Yes, so you have to make sure that you don't do such mistakes. Another thing that should be avoided is giving out any kind of personal information while you're teaching. Okay, this is not just for online teaching, but also for offline teaching. The teacher shouldn't give out their personal information. Now, giving personal information doesn't mean that you just cannot give a personal touch to the session, the topic that you're teaching. You can always give examples. You can always tell about yourself that, okay, I like this thing, I like doing such things, these are my hobbies. These are fine, and sometimes these things become necessary while you're taking the session, because it gives a personal touch, and the tutor, or you can say the students, feel connected with the tutor, right? So there is a rapport that is built between them. So all of these things are necessary, but make sure that you do not give out any kind of specific personal information. Another point that should be avoided is asking for feedbacks. Now, I know a lot of my colleagues have done this mistake. They feel that it is absolutely fine to ask students for feedbacks, because in many organizations there is this rating system, right? Student feedback system, which I think is very necessary, because the customer who are using, the product of a particular organization, there should be a proper feedback system for that customer, whether that customer is happy, whether they are satisfied. So feedback, taking student feedback is absolutely fine, and it is even like a good thing. And in some organizations, tutors are judged based on that. For example, if a tutor got 5-star rating, so they will be, judged as a great tutor, right? So their performance sometimes depends on this. But this doesn't mean that the tutor should go out and ask the students and tell them that please give me 4-star or 5-star, or please, rate me good, when you will be prompted with that feedback thing after the session. So you should actually avoid this, and sometimes the tutor gets punished for doing that, okay? They might get escalations. So I know some of the tutors have been doing this. Like when I got to know about this, I was like, who is going to do that? This is something that no one will do. No one is going to ask for a feedback that, okay, please give me 5 stars or please give me 4 stars. But when I actually got to know that some of the tutors were actually doing this, and they do it, like I have also attended a few sessions. I took the subscription of a few courses while I was studying. So I have seen tutors asking for 5-star rating and asking for good feedback, good written feedback. So I used to think that, like, even though the tutor taught really good, but if they ask for the feedback, then that is, I would say, a turn off for students. So yes, this is why you should avoid asking for feedbacks. You can always ask at the end of the session, if you have the time. You can always ask that, how was the session? Did you like it? Was I able to clear your doubts? Like I usually do this. So the last thing on my list is avoid using expressions or words like God, Allah, Jesus. All of these expressions and words should be avoided. For example, there was this training session that I was giving, and while giving the demo, I used this term, oh my God. And this is something very common. We usually say this, like, oh my God, God forbid, all of this. So make sure that you are not using such words, because the students who are attending your session are from different religion. So sometimes students take it personally. Now I know there's nothing, offensive about it. I know, like, the moment I said, oh my God, I did not, just said it to derogate someone, right? Or to express a particular opinion. Okay. But usually this happens, and this is why we should avoid saying it, because we don't know, like, who might find it offensive. So that was all about today's video. So these were the 5 things that tutors should avoid, and this was the part 2. If you haven't watched the part 1 already, it is already in my description box, so you can just go and watch it. And yes, if you really like the information that I'm sharing, you find it helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon so you never miss an update, and I'll see you next time. Till then, bye everyone.